Okay, let's have some fun. Getting a little late, and so I'm in the mood to sketch. We're gonna stay with this paper, this Fabriano, and it's just good stuff. We did this one the other night, which turned out okay, kind of fun. So it's all right. But we have that one, which was done in the Fabriano, and we have a microphone now. Corey had us by, so it should sound really good. And the whole idea is that everything is impromptu. We're in a studio and we're sketching. So, on vacation, this guy had a face, and most people have faces. And it was he just had this. I wish I would have taken, got around to the front to take a better picture of him. But here's this guy, and he just ended up in the photo. I didn't intentionally take a photo of him, but he ended up in there, which I thought was kind of cool. So I'm kind of in the mood for doing a tonal drawing, kind of a long tonal drawing. And so what I'm going to use is the pan pastel and charcoal. Okay, get this thing lined up. This up straight. Let's turn the camera. Okay, so we're dealing with this impromptu. So here we go. And he has this really cool face. So it's kind of fun because I noticed him, and then I realized that he was in the photo that I took. So it was one of those tours. It was actually a tour for how to make alcohol, and it's perfect for a guy who doesn't drink. I tell my college students when I taught college that alcohol will make you dizzy and then pregnant. Let's do this. I like this paper because it's let's go portrait on this. I think it'd be better. So we can do more of a gesture. See, don't ever be afraid to start over. What we're doing now is we're going for the silhouette. And it's going to be a charcoal drawing. It's just going to have kind of this brown undertow to it, undertone. See, now we have this gesture. Looks, yeah, that's pretty cool. We can mix it up a little bit. Green. And the gesture, as we found out on the Yellow Brick Road with Dorothy, is that the gesture, it's going to give you all of your energy and the scarecrow, it's pure gesture because the scarecrow didn't have any anatomy. But you see, I'm putting in anatomy because I go like that. That's the Zygomaticus, go like that. Riculasaurus, the nasolabial fold, So it's in there. Um, it's definitely in there, in the gesture. We used to say in animation that the animators roughs, they look like these like crazy scribbles, but everything was in there. A good animator, they put everything in that scribble. You got your pose, you got your energy, you've got your structure, and it's all in there. You just have to be able to see it, and that's where people just say, well, what's the value of an assistant? We can see in the animators rough what they're doing because we're animators also. We're just animators who draw, and we draw, and we drew well, so we stayed assistants. It was fine. Okay, so there we go. So there's your start, and I have my so computer down here. All right, so now I want to have some fun and do a charcoal. So the whole idea about a tonal drawing is that there is no line. So the olden days, here's the phone. Cool. Battery wise, I guess it might be okay. Yeah, plug in if I need to. In the olden days, they the chiaroscuro people, they used to say to the Florentine people and say, you don't exist because there's no line in nature. And the Florentine people used to say, the chiaroscuro people, yeah, but you can't draw. And it's funny because it's still going on today, I think. Like, I couldn't hire for cleanup, the Riley artists. I mean, I studied with Fred. I studied Riley for 6 years. I know Riley, but I couldn't use them for cleanup because you got to linear, you got to draw it in, you got to structure it in. They were great for concept, fantastic, fantastic for background painting, for color scripting, for everything else. But there were some of them, did really well. Uh, some of them that transitioned really well, like Glenn Orbuck, he's no longer with us, and he did really. But he studied with Vilpu too. If you studied with Vilpu, you were in a good spot because Glenn knew how to teach what we wanted. So here's a line. That means this tone is either the darkness on this side or the darkness on this side. So that's this long nose. He's got a great face. Everything for me is so I can sit and sketch people. Now the lighting is indoors and the light's coming from all over. We're gonna have to figure this out. I'm gonna have the light come in this way. This little triangle light down here. And it is, it's coming from here. It's casting a shadow. So the light's coming this way. So we're okay. You do these angles this way, it's all the same angle. You do a profile. It's in the videos if you need. Just go to the head drawing. Go to the head drawing video. Should be there. You'll find it. And this should be kind of cool because I have a tendency to kind of whisper when it's late. I'm just drawing because I'm not used to talking. You can mix up the line and the tone. I might do that. I might go real tonal here and linear on the clothing. A person you can look at for that would be Ingris. He did a really good job with that. We're looking kind of down at him, so everything's going to go this way. I'm putting in the Riley. I'm putting in the Riley chart, but I have it in my head, so just naturally put the strokes down that way. But I'm teaching. brought out really pretty clear. At our school, we do kind of an abbreviated Riley. It's pretty close. Definitely don't teach the Riley body land. It's fine, but for that, I'm gonna go right to Florentine school because most of a lot of the kids, they can go both. You can still go tonal with it pretty well. In the end, it's all the same. You know, the classes are later. Okay, so I have a kneaded eraser, and I have a charcoal. A lot of the illustrators will make the pencil lead really long, so you can focus, more on gentle halftones, which is fine. It's kind of funny. A lot of them, they get very, kind of artistic like this, have their finger up, and I think it's kind of cute. So we can do that. We can get kind of artistic and talk about the duality of man. Okay, so we go like this. I was thinking the other day why, and I've probably brought it up, but let me bring it up again more. A lot going on right now, and a lot of the reason why you might think I sound not negative, but more not romantic about the art. And I think it goes back to the old days with my teacher, Rayberg. And again, I've got him in my head all the time. I hear his voice. I think I was about 14. I showed up for my lesson. I'm not sure. I have to think about the kitchen. I was probably 14. Yeah, I was pretty young. And he told me, he goes, I bought a bunch of fresh ingredients. Okay. And I made myself a stew. That's nice. And because I took the stew and I put it in 5 different bowls, ran my paper on there, and I put it in the freezer and I froze them. Okay. And he said, Sheldon, I eat that week. I said, oh. He goes, you're going into the art world. You're going to have some tough times. Think smart. And the funny thing is, if you go online and you see Eddie, he's always complaining, about the insecurity of the industry. That's the first thing you say. How you doing, Ed? And that's the first thing he's going to do is talk about that. It's really cute. And now it's there today. Now it's being lived out. There's the studio, the industry is cleansing itself and trying to figure stuff out. And because of that, a lot of layoffs. So, but if you had Eddie in your head, you'd think, yeah, I'm normal. So it was pretty interesting. Notice I start out kind of Florentine school drawing over. So I think I got the romance beat out of me very young. And now it's always been a life. It's a soul. It's what you do. You're an artist. It's what I am. Now here's a cast shadow, which will later be the glasses. So I'm going to do that. And then up here, this is all in shadow from the hat. I'm going to put a cast shadow in there. Got some hard edges. Come down this way. This is kind of a 3/4 profile here. Seat's pushed way over here because it's 3/4 back. I got all these floaters in my eyes. I've been able to control them, when they came in. It's kind of, I guess, an old age thing, and they said there's no cure for it. You pretty much you have to live with it. Well, I got a lot of them. Figured it out. Actually figured it out. In weeks just researching, and there was nothing that said. One little thing was said in one bit of research, and I went, there it is. So I can now control these. So when I'm done drawing, because right now I'm focusing and squinting so that, they're focused. I can get rid of them now in about, a few minutes. Just go through these little exercises I've come up with. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want anybody to sue me, but figured it out. Real simple. No chemicals, no drugs, no nothing. Just figured it out. So I think that's what I'm trying to teach the kids at my school. Don't complain. Figure it out. I'm starting them young that way. You know, 8, 9 years old. Figure it out. So cute. The new generation. Complain. Figure it out. Now I'm putting in the planes. Plane in the nose. Art school is more than just saying, here's a rhythm chart or bite size or anything. It's more how you think, solve problems. We would do it visually. We visually solve problems. So these things are visual. I solved it visually. Not gone completely, but I can control them now. These are tough poses, these 3/4. All right, now I'm going to start putting in the lights. I've been wanting to do this since I noticed it on my phone, right after this event. I went, oh, wow, he's there. A song at the top of the nose. It's like this SpongeBob song. I've never really seen the show, but the kids sing it. So it's SpongeBob SquarePants. So it's top, side, square, face, top. And I've never used this paper before, so let's test it out. Top, side, square, face. Light, dark, light, dark. Kind of a crest light. Crest lights was just turning. Or we used a lot in like horror movies and stuff like that. This is a hard edge, so put a light here, put a light there. Now we start defining the actual. Looks like a triangle shape. Come on, you do this. Take one of these stumps. I used to have my students never use these. And I watch Bill Pooh use it. If Glenn uses it, I can use it. And they're kind of fun. I want to make sure they're not a crutch. He doesn't use them as a crutch. He's fun. I can work on this one. I'm just trying to figure out this paper. So for these shapes, a good artist to look at is Leyendecker. He really did a good job designing. Speaking of the skull, the orbit of the eye right here. That's inside. I'm keying it in the darkest dark. These old, when you get old, the pads behind your eyes thin out and the eyes go in. We don't see a lot of the eye because it's behind. But we can put some light on top. So we need some dark to bring out this light. So let's try that. Like this. And we can try and use the pan pastel. You want to make sure that this shape in the background is different than the shape of the object. A lot of times, when you go like that, you see how it starts to mirror it. So that's a real important thing to remember. You do that by making the brush strokes uneven like that. Now I can bring out the lights in the face. Okay. This is a shadow. This tone can go through it. Okay, it's gonna get a little loud, so hold on a second. Edge. And this is more silky. I'm measuring from the eye up to the hat. You're always judging distances. And now I can smear it around better with the stump. Got to be thinking just Well, the glasses are a prop. He's got him going outside. Goes outside the silhouette. Pretty interesting. I want to go above the eye. He's got to go right through his eye. I want to go. Oh, I screwed up. Went above his ear. Here. Go this way. And open up the shapes. It's not just one line. I don't know how much time we have on this video, but we got a lot of time on this thing. So what I might do is just stop it, finish the drawing, and post the drawing with the video. Let's see what we can do. I think we'll stop here. So this is be considered a lay-in. What I'll do is I'll go and finish it because it's going to use up a lot of time. But this would be a good lay-in. It's just tone against tone. That's painting with charcoal. But the first time I've used this charcoal with the pan pastels, I'm kind of fighting the medium. But let's see how it goes. What I'll do is I'll finish it, put on some music, and then I'll have Corey post the drawing with the video. Okay. Okay. This is kind of like one of those cooking shows. So it's been about 3 hours and the next day, and I still work on it. So that's why I want to do this rendering thing. I found this another photo of this guy, and this is probably one I should have done because it's more of a actual profile. But what you'll see is that it's just that looking for the planes, subplanes, and facets. So this will get cut in on the other video. I'll have Corey do it. And you're picking at it. And you got your values down. Okay? So this is light because it's the white of the paper. It's only white because it's dark around it. We'll leave this one alone, but you'll be able to see it. Okay. Adding more and more detail. Let me give you guys a kind of a step-by-step process. First thing is to have a reason to do the drawing. For this, I just thought the guy was had a fun-looking face. So that's the first thing. Or it's a client. The next is gesture, just a nice little scribble so you know where you're placing the image. You want to do a portrait, do it about the size of your hand because your hand is the size of your face. Just a nice little rough scribble just to show, here's the eyes, nose, mouth, angle of the head, nothing heavy. And you could even put words in there at that ear or hat. You can write words. You can do whatever you want during that initial scribble kind of a gestural type. You want to be able to have the place. You don't want to say the drawing went off the side of the page or the painting because I planned it. Nobody plans to have it go. That's when we know you're kind of, wool over eyes. Once you have that down, you want to go for shapes. And I call it the graphic footprint. So what that's going to be is the whole graphic. So if you were to color it in, you'd still know who it is or what's going on. They're wearing a hat. The hat doesn't silhouette, make it silhouette. The face isn't silhouette, make it silhouette. That means silhouette means you color it in and you can have a general idea what's. Once you put in the shapes, the definition of a clean, pretty shape is a curve against a straight, curve against a curve, a convex and concave. That makes it pretty. Okay, so they have to be nice, pretty shapes. Watch for tangents. If you're going to have a potential tangent where things are converging at a point or barely touching. Once you have your shapes in, then you have to make a decision. Is this going to be a painting or just a drawing? If it's just a drawing, you got to get in there and really wrap around, make everything fit because you're going to be using linear. And the audience you're not going to be able to hide in shadow. I always love these, these student work where they just, they'll draw like half a face and everything else is just in shadow. You can't use that animation. You can't use that sequential drawing. You're going to go with line, man, you better know what you're drawing and get in there, really wrap around, make everything fit. Make the nose, fit on the face. The eyes have to be set inside. If you're going to go painting, then you're going to go right to tone, put in your local values. For me, my local value is a number 1 because I'm really, really, really pale. What is the local value? Local value from the flesh to the hair to a hat to the clothes. And you got from 1 to 10. You usually kind of group it 1, 5, and 10. So make sure that if you stand back, you look at that, those values, you can tell what's going on. You might want to lose edges at that point. So make sure that those values are close together where you want to lose your form. Once you have your local values in, then you want to break it down into lights and darks. Light side, dark side. On the top of your drawing symbolically, and you let the water roll. It should move through the entire drawing. The light side. Same thing on the dark side. Symbolically put water on there, and it should be able to work it through. That water represents the viewer's eye. If it's constantly dulling back and forth, getting real jittery, then it will fatigue the viewer, and then eventually they'll get tired and they'll move on to an image. Once you have those in, then you want to work within those areas for your halftone. Now, before we do that, though, you want to work your edges. So cast shadows have hard edges, and form shadows have soft edges. You're going to have a form shadow, then a cast. Form, cast, form. You can go back to the video where I was teaching that poor woman on the airplane. It's soft before it's hard. So we want to play with that musical notes. So if music's going dun 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 dun, and you can play with the intensity of the soft and the intensity of the hard. Cast shadows generally pretty hard edges, but your core shadows can have soft core shadows and the softness of the face, firm core shadows, and very firm core shadows. You get to play with those. Once you have your shadows in, so you have your darks and your lights, now you're going to have to get in there and do those little halftones, and that's where it gets tough. Because if the value goes off, the drawing falls apart. While you're putting in those tones, you need to think structure, because you'll have a floating eye, the nostril won't fit. So even the painter at that part is really thinking the structure. Let's end with this. When I was a kid, I used to go to my grandmother. The most pleasant experience. She had plastic furniture, so somewhere out there is a couch with plastic on it and my skin connected to it, because you'd lay on it, and then when you kind of rip your face off, because you sweat and you get all sticky. On the TV was a show called The Ed Sullivan Show. I guess that's how old I am. And it was this guy on there, and they would always have this guy. What he'd do is he'd line up these like metal rods, and then he would take plates. He have a whole bunch of them on the stage, and he'd put a plate on it, and he'd spin the plate, spinning, and then he'd do the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But when he got towards the end, what would happen to the first one? It'd start to wobble. So he'd run all the way over to the next side, go back, and he'd get it fixed, to get the wobble to go away. And then once he got this going, then he'd go to the other side, and that would wobble. So he'd fix that. By the end, he's just running back and forth, fixing wobbly plates. I used to think to myself, what an idiot. This guy's a schmuck, what a fool. I realized later on when I was in art, seriously studying art school, he was just painting. So when you're painting and you get your values working on this side, these are going to go fall. Then you run over and you get these working, then those are going to fall apart. You're constantly working the painting and adjusting your values and edges and shapes all the time. Because as you move on this side, the other one will fall apart. Hopefully that helps you. I'm going to do another one that I've already done the lay-in for, and so I can get to the half. Okay, so I'll move on to that video. Okay, in a little while.